Good evening, everybody. It's another edition of Sidebar.
Good evening.
Woo!
What number are we on now? 89.
89.
89.
Closing in on 100 real soon.
Oh boy.
Yes.
We'll have to have a celebration. Maybe we'll do an hour and 10 minutes that day.
Sounds like you guys got pretty close to an hour 10 the other night.
No, we did.
Yeah.
We did.
We'll bring party poppers and streamers, and yeah, it'll be fun.
There you go.
Have an hour discussion and a 10-minute timeline of memorable moments or something.
That would
That
go.
could be fun. We'll figure something out. All right. Well, we talked about this whole Mark Rolfe situation on Tuesday, but a couple of things happened. First off, we were really feisty. And even though we kind of really kicked the crap out of that horse, we believe it's still a little bit alive. So we have to beat it just a little bit more. And we didn't get to hear from Lindsay because she was under the weather.
Yes.
But she's over the weather now.
I'm in the weather.
You're in the weather?
I'm in it, but we're here.
Okay.
We're good. We're here.
Close enough? All right.
That's enough.
Works.
Yeah.
But we don't have Michael. He's missing.
You only get
but-
one sassy, feisty fire sign.
It's going to be
energy.
trading off.
Yeah, we're just trading.
YouTube said only one spicy person tonight.
Yep.
That must be
So
it.
if he does jump in, we'll gladly have him. So
Yeah. But I think there's more to say on the matter. And honestly, we want to do this again because we wanted to see what Lindsay had to say about it all. We never got to a broader discussion regarding just people being set up for failure when they're put on these bond conditions. So that's an area where we can go. And also, it's apparently getting so spicy in that community regarding this. A couple of mornings ago, I read in the pre-show. So if you're not a member, you missed this. But I read some comments on the Huron Daily Tribune's Facebook page regarding this whole situation. They weren't overly kind, and I just discovered a few minutes ago that the Huron Daily Tribune deleted all their comments. So there's a whole lot going on with this.
censorship.
I'm still not happy. I still think this guy was set up for failure. I still think there's more going on. So much so that, again, on this morning's pre-show, we did a whole thing about it. But Lindsay, I think the best place to go is with you and kind of get you into the game and see what you think on this. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to scream for an hour.
One of the philosophies I try to live by is never assume malice. And I don't necessarily think that they intentionally... It's very easy to believe they intentionally set this guy up to eventually just screw it up and move on and lock him up. But also, having grown up in small town Michigan myself, I can honestly go, oh, they might not have thought about if he had to actually go work in the theater, what might happen. I can honestly believe that. So never assume malice when it's just an innocent mistake. On the other hand, I also know how the workings of these smaller, tight-knit communities can be. And it's like, well, we have to give him a bond. And if he pays for it, then we have to let him out. So let's just find a way that he ends up back in. It's honestly kind of just like I watched it and I watched it back and I watched it back again. And it's like, for what seemed to be such a blasé bond for bond revocation hearing, there's so many layers to it. This is quite the little onion we've got. But I don't think it should have been revoked, because we've seen people have their bond not revoked, have walked away, to fight another day for far worse things. He'd been on bond for 8 months. He had been at every hearing. I don't know if there were any kind of chemical, don't use this, things put in place for him. Sounds like he didn't fail any drug test or anything. He handed out tickets in his movie theater, and that was enough to yank him. And that just feels wrong. It just feels wrong.
So just real quick, if I may, you said, about the whole malice thing.
Yeah.
I have a similar kind of concept where I tell myself, and I've instructed like Eli and whatnot,
Yeah.
when you see hoof prints, think horses, not zebras. I'm seeing a hell of a lot of zebras on this one.
Yeah. And that's where I
That's
said,
my
like, my
problem.
Pollyanna, never assume malice, and my, like, very realist, like, are kind of at odds with each other, and I can't make heads or tails of it. Just, it feels weird, and something is definitely off here.
Yeah.
So
And I don't think he was, I think by just like, yanking it, there's something more afoot than just whatever the case is.
So I kind of I listened back right on the case because I was really interested in the details of that photograph. Because that is the one that's the sussiest part, like Julie said, that's the sussiest part that to this whole thing. And it shows the son. They mentioned that it shows the son with popcorn and the defendant in the background working.
Yeah.
And I didn't catch on that the first time, and I still think it's pretty sus. Because why would you just take a picture of the child with popcorn and the defendant? Or
that's the other part is we went off some guy's picture.
Yeah.
And
well,
okay, so the police officer was there, right? Like the police officer that took the call.
I don't think they took a call. As I understand it, after the fact, they had to go see Spider-Man or whatever first. And then after the fact, the picture taker submitted this to the policeman or sheriff's office or whatever they got going on in Bad X. That's
what
my
happened there with that. The picture was sent from the dad moviegoer directly to the police chief and said, hey, he's at the theater, something to that effect.
So via like text message and not through any official channels.
So he knew the police chief.
And then the police
this sounds fine.
See, I've already scored more than Ashley, and I've been in the show for 7 minutes.
I don't know if he sent it to the officer. The police chief then sent it to an officer.
Okay.
And the officer went to the theater. I don't know if it was via the chief to the officer, if it was official channels, or if it was just through the text as well.
Sure. Okay.
And then
I kind of want to see this photograph.
Me too.
Me too.
I take pictures for a living. It has nothing to do with YouTube. It has to do with our other businesses. We photograph product and stuff. And just the amount of zoom used, the angle, the lighting, the everything changes your perspective completely.
Yep.
Yes, exactly.
It could have been he just happened to be in the background of the photo, which I guess
that's what
Judge Pearl decided that's enough to yank him. He's in the same room as a child. It's over.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they kept
one of the more
kid in the
asinine
picture
things I've ever heard in my life. Straight up.
Basically to prove that he was with a kid or near a kid.
Near a kid.
Yeah. In the same room, however.
Yeah. And it's not like he purposely set out to like nefariously try to be near a kid. He owns a business. The business did not have enough workers. He had to step in and operate the business.
Yes.
Where they told him he could be.
Where they told him he could be. There was nothing about not being in that movie theater until like that moment where Judge Pearl decided it's over. That's another thing that really like burned me up was like they revealed in this bond revocation hearing that some of the encounters that led to this charge allegedly happened in the movie theater. Then why, when bond was set, was he told he could go to the movie theater? I think you guys even brought it up on Tuesday. It's like, hey, if you rob a Walmart, no contact with any Walmart. If you rob a Circle K gas station, no contact with any Circle K gas stations.
Yep.
If you allegedly do stuff with a kid in the movie theater, then you don't go back to the movie theater. If he's truly just a business owner, I think he could probably do most of the administrative stuff from a laptop at home.
Yes.
And I know nothing about owning a movie theater. I'm purely speculating here. The day-to-day operations would set on a manager and the staff.
Yeah. So
I'm getting very fired up.
Can I jump ahead
No.
and answer?
That's
That's
what I was
good.
hoping for.
That's what happened that's what happened on
Sorry,
Tuesday.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Austin, you're jumping ahead
Yeah.
to something.
Can I jump ahead to answer Wahoo's question
Yes.
about the
Please do.
records? So I actually reached out to somebody in the clerk's office via email, and the email I got back was, "Thank you for reaching out to us. We are a smaller county, and do not have, and not a. We are a smaller county and not online fully yet regarding court documents. You are
It's
free to contact-
2026.
Yeah, you
Get
are free
online.
to contact the
This is
clerk's
Michigan, though.
office where the records are to obtain a copy."
You had to call them. They gave you a phone number.
Yep.
In 2026.
Yeah.
I love small town Michigan so much, but there's
Yeah,
a reason
it's-
I don't live there anymore.
It's neat. I
kind of
also did some
infuriating a little
reaching
bit.
out myself. I'm not going to say who I reached out to because I'm still waiting for a response. But hopefully I'll have more on this soon.
The sidebar
But-
channel is turning into a bunch of detectives.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Investigative journalism.
Well, because you know what? Of
No,
all the
I'm
things
not
we've watched in the
charging at all.
almost 2 years here, this is one of the most broken things I've seen
Yeah.
from a something doesn't smell right perspective. This isn't just a simple, at least for me,
Yeah.
this isn't just a simple, that was a
No.
bad call on the part of the judge.
Right.
No, I'm fully aligned with you.
Because
Yeah.
the
There's more here.
yeah, the judge argues that in his words that you cannot use the necessity of running a business as a shield to return
Right.
to the exact environment where the alleged crime took place.
Where he's been for the last 20 years.
Right.
With
Everyone
no other
knows he's the
complaints.
guy
That's
with the
that's
movie
the
theater.
other sus thing about
It
this
is
to me.
sussy.
I mean, look, we've seen this over the years where somebody will make a complaint that's ages old against somebody. Sometimes it proves out true, sometimes it proves out false. But the fact that this was a 20-year-old complaint, then nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I mean, bring the facts in court. If this guy's guilty, fry him. I'm cool with that. However, I think, there's a burden of proof that's got to happen here, especially with the fact that 20 years have passed. You better be bringing the receipts if you're going to put this guy away.
Just want to read into the record that my reservations and side-eyeing of this case has nothing to do with the plaintiff, the accuser here. If they had an experience and felt the need, finally felt brave enough, whatever, to come forward 20 years later, that is their prerogative. I wish them strength through what's coming up here. My side eye is purely on how this seems to be being handled by the Huron County court system, and like these really flimsy arguments they're standing on. Like, we just saw him at the movie theater in the background of some guy's photo. Okay, he's going to jail after he's complied with every other bond condition for 8 months. We've seen people not go 8 hours
Right.
Yeah.
without
Right.
getting their bond revoked or violating a condition. This guy went to every hearing, met every other condition. He had to work in his movie
just
theater
staying
on
busy.
a busy Saturday, the single busiest night in theaters we've had so far in 2026. Two major summer hits hitting on the same weekend, incidentally, with 2 cast members the same across both movies, but that's neither here nor there.
I love that detail.
That's what boggles me. Yeah, Tom Holland and Zendaya are in both Spider-Man
okay.
and the Odyssey. Don't ask me why it felt
Interesting.
me to bring that up, but yeah, like that's what brings him down, is having to work in the movie theater because some guy texted the sheriff.
Allow me to expand on my record a little bit just to clarify what I'm saying. What
Yeah,
I'm
no, I'm
saying
not
is if
throwing any
if
accusations out
somebody's going to bring a 20-year-old accusation,
Right.
then I think it's even more incumbent on the DA and on the court and on everybody else to have every I dotted and every T crossed with this case.
Agreed.
Because any decent defense attorney is going to rip this apart.
Exactly. I don't disagree at all. I wasn't trying to pull your argument apart. I just wanted that stated into the record that nowhere in this am I saying
I'm just saying there's a built-in there's a built-in question mark. Excuse me, a built-in question mark and a built-in sus level
Yeah.
to a complaint that comes 2 decades later.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah.
So when you throw
I
these
agree.
other things in on top of it,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
good
the whole
luck.
thing looks shady.
Yes.
The whole thing looks super shady.
And really, I didn't get fired. Like I said last time, I didn't really get fired up about this until I watched it again, and then looked into the photo or their evidence that was
Yeah,
provided. So I was like, this is not enough. Why are they just going off of one single photo? And why is there a random citizen taking a picture? And why is he putting his kids and around this guy and
That's
taking
the
a
other
picture?
part. If he was so
Yeah.
concerned about this guy being in the movie theater, why did they stick around for the movie?
Yep.
Why did
Well-
why did the encounter happen? Why didn't you?
Boycott the
Lindsay, they'd already
theater.
paid for the $30 bucket of popcorn, and they had to stay and consume it. Otherwise, it's just a waste of money.
You can take the popcorn.
Take it home.
Ask me how I know this.
You pay for it, you get to take it home.
But Lindsay, safety be damned. That's, and the tickets.
Oh, I know. It was probably
Oh,
like
yeah.
a $300 expedition, even in bad acts. Like
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
that's a whole week's paycheck for your kid to go see a movie that they're probably gonna half understand.
Yep.
Mhm.
Even though Spider-Man
much.
one.
So yeah, wrong ways, kind of not up to speed. Let me bring you up to speed here real quick. So like some days ago, there was a hearing in Judge Prill's court of Michigan, and a guy named Mark Rolfe, he owns a movie theater. He was out on bond conditions for a complaint lodged against him that is a 20-year-old complaint of some bad conduct with somebody who was underage. And part of that accusation was that one of the acts took place in the movie theater that he owns. When he was put out on bond, which, oh, by the way, was only a $50,000 bond, which is not a lot for something like this. When he was put out on the bond, he was allowed to go back to his theater and work. Then somebody found him in proximity of a child because he was working his business. So he was selling tickets, working concessions, stuff like that, snapped a photograph, sent it to the chief of police. He comes back into court, his bond is revoked. That's the long and the short of it.
Yeah.
So now everybody's up to speed.
Yeah. And
And
within the bond conditions, there was nothing that said he couldn't go in the movie theater. So
Yeah.
Right.
he went in the movie theater on a busy Saturday night.
Even though this has
I
been
think
brought
he
up.
would've-
Short person.
I think he would have gotten in trouble either way, because
Oh,
if
yeah.
he would have decided not to show up to work, he would have been called in for a bond violation for not working.
That's true. You did raise that point. One of his bond conditions is he had to maintain employment. Okay, he owns a business. Fantastic.
Yep.
Ta-da.
And he can't work at the
Is it
bowling alley
cheap?
because that's closed for the summer. He owns a bowling alley too.
The
Right.
bowling alley closed for the summer got me.
But
Because
that would be irrelevant anyways because he'd encounter kids there too.
Yeah.
There's an arcade at the bowling
Yes.
alley. I looked. So even
Yeah.
if the kid's not going to bowl, they're going to be in there in the arcade.
Yep.
Yes.
Or they're going to be in the concession stand spending $100 on snacks. Again, ask me how I know. Yeah.
I continue to reiterate how exactly, and we looked it up, it was 21.5% of the population or something like that is under 18.
Yeah.
How exactly is it practical for you to go about your day-to-day life without having any contact whatsoever in any form with somebody who's under 18? And further, how do you define contact?
Yeah.
Yes.
But
That's why we
I-
wanted that bond condition, but
that's
we haven't
why
gotten
I was
it
more
yet.
surprised that there wasn't. I mean, they didn't have grounds for house arrest. But then that's
Yeah.
why I'm surprised maybe that wasn't the next step.
Yep.
Like, oh, okay, well, you're going into the theater. Well, you can maintain the finances and call your popcorn vendor from home. Bring your computer home. You can work from home.
Yeah,
Yeah, why wasn't that the next step?
that would have made more sense.
Right?
Or if they were so if they were so concerned, why was the bond itself so low to begin with?
Exactly.
Yep.
We joke about this all the time, but it's the truth. $50,000 bond in Florida is fishing out of season. But
Right.
up in Michigan, it's multiple counts of CSC.
11, which is just insane.
Again, if he was such a concern for the safety of the community, then they should have Akalinaed him and given him $1 million bond.
Really. Now. Like, why would you even let him out now?
No, it's true. Though. Yeah.
But if you're just going to put somebody in that situation, why do you entertain it?
Because he's entitled to a bond. But
Akalina.
But Akalina him. I love that that's a verb.
Or
make it a higher bond.
I don't know. It's idiocracy to the extreme.
Yeah. It's smelly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
$50,000 in 2006 had the same buying power as 82,000. Wow.
Interesting.
I brought this up before. And they brought this before the court before. So it wasn't just they issued the bond and everything, but they also brought this, they had a question about the bond and brought it up again, apparently. And that it still wasn't resolved then. So, and they reinforced the matter that the theater is still under his bond conditions. So yeah, I'm scratching my head because how do you expect this guy to be successful? Because I thought you're supposed to make it so they are back in court. You're protecting the public. I know those are reasons for the bond.
Yeah. How keeping a guy from handing out popcorn and not even pieces of paper, because half the time the damn tickets are on your phone anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
How is that protecting the public?
Yeah. I wish I knew. And here's the thing. The public had no issue with this man right up until January of this year. They didn't. If you go and you look up the reviews of the two businesses that he owned, with the occasional, I don't like this or that, they're glowing. My favorite was somebody who had problems with the lack of good wheelchair access in the turn of the century theater.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a turn of the century theater. What are you going to do? Barbara, thank you for the $5.
Thank you,
Barbara.
Thank you.
But, so the community had no issues with this guy or with his businesses. So I find it hard to believe that if he was a true danger, we would have gone 2 decades since the alleged act with nothing. I'm having a hard time wrapping my brain around that. Again, it might prove out true. I don't know, but it makes me wonder that if initially even the court, and it was Judge Julian something who initially set his bond at the district level. I forget her name, but even the court, I think at that point looked at that and went, I'm not too sure about this, which is why we had a relatively muted bond amount.
That's true.
So
that's true.
But now everybody's in a tizzy. And I think a lot of it too. And I wanted to be able to pull up some of these, but they're gone now because they were deleted. But so much of the community in that area were posting about basically just wanting to, lynch this guy. And he's gross. He's horrible. He's just the worst human being on the face of the earth. But I will reiterate again, nothing is proven.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's got a 20-year history of everything being quiet.
And if you had such a problem with that theater,
but a question I had after you shared those comments with us, Dan, is granted, I don't know who's seeking out the Huron County newspaper or whatever the newspaper name was, purposely on social media that aren't residents of that county. But do we know that they were all like residents or folks that would have interacted with this guy? Or did we just happen to come across something, saw the right word combinations and started keyboard warrioring?
I did actually look at a few of the people because I always think
You're
about that too.
thorough, aren't you? I love it.
And obviously I can't now because they're deleted, but before I brought it up the other morning, I did take a look, and the few that I like sampled, they're from that area.
Okay. Because I know
Julie,
it's
thank you
not
for the
uncommon.
$10.
Thank you. Julie.
Sorry.
It's not uncommon when you have these kinds of situations or a business getting bad press for the brigading to kind of happen. If you know what I mean, like, you know, just all of a sudden someone catches wind of it, and then people that aren't related whatsoever start dropping comments on things. It's not uncommon to see like folks go to like the Google reviews, Yelp reviews, and start leaving 1-star reviews for a place they've never been.
Yeah.
So that was, I'm glad you did the checking. And granted, I was kind of like, I was running around getting ready when I was listening to that. So I wasn't paying the closest of attention, but I'm glad you validated it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was curious about that too. You kind of have to be nowadays.
So let's talk about them taking down that thing. Okay. What are the reasons for that? We mentioned last time about the election year. We also talked
election year.
The election year. But what other reason would they have to take that down?
Well, the Huron Daily Tribune might not want a whole lot of nasty comments attached to their name. So there's that.
Yeah.
Can they turn off the comments?
Good, but you got to be careful what kind of engagement.
The comments are still turned on, but the ones that were really bad have been deleted.
Okay.
It looks like just today. Only one is left. And the one that's left is from somebody named Monique, who said he should have never got out the first time. He's sick, and I hope he gets the help he needs. That's one of the more positive ones that was there. But that's all that's left. Everything else is gone.
Yeah, this is...
So, you know, it's... Yeah, I mean, again, I'm seeing a lot of zebras, not horses. There's just...
I agree.
I don't normally I'm fairly good at like aligning my thoughts and stuff, but I see so much wrong with this. It's assaulting my senses, and I'm not exactly sure where to start with it. And the funny thing is, that all of this may very well be for a guilty person.
Yeah.
But that's also irrelevant to me.
Yes.
At this point.
Right.
Because
we're not defending this again.
No.
Go.
No, but if we are what we say we are, then we do things a certain way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this stinks of everything being done the wrong way. And yeah, I wonder if they regretted setting the bond as low as they did, especially if there was the community backlash, which it looks like there was, because that's how these things go. You know, at one point, somebody who's big in your community is great for you, and then the next morning he's Satan. We've seen that play before, and it might be justified, it might not be, I don't know. But I wonder if the court saw all of that, and you know, election year, got to watch our image. Let's find a reason to make this go away. And it's striking to me that the photo got sent immediately to the chief of police. Now, I know it's a small community, but what are the odds of the guy who took the picture and got his children propped up just perfectly? You know, Johnny, move about 6 inches to the left. Okay, Mr. Rolfe, can you smile for me? Click. Now let me text this. What are the odds?
And they knew, well, it's a small community, so they probably know all about this, of course, because it's 20 years in the making, at least. So
it might be, I think the word's conspiratorial, but I'm wondering if the dad who sent the picture is an off-duty cop. Or something involved with the court system.
No, it said, I know it was, they just said random citizen.
Okay, they did? I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, they said.
Yeah, they said that.
Yeah.
They said a citizen took a
Okay.
picture.
He was
Not-
probably anonymous.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, they said his name.
Is it really his name?
They said his name, or they said the police officer's name?
They said the person who took the photo.
We don't normally put on our tinfoil hats here, but mine is on standby.
Yes.
This is just so messed up.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, too, the lawyer who's representing him now is based in Grand Rapids. So he went outside of the community to get somebody to represent him now.
Can I
Which I also
say?
find interesting.
Can I say that name, that report, or should I just withhold that?
The name of,
The person that took the photo.
if it's out in the public
If it's
domain, it's out in the
public
public
record.
domain. I don't care.
Okay, Jason Rogers is the one that took the photo.
All right, let's see what we can find about Jason Rogers.
Oh God, we are down the rabbit hole now, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
And Wahoo's dragging us down further. Going further down, could the person taking the picture be related to the original victim?
Oh,
You know
could
what?
be.
Wouldn't
One of
rule
those
that
two.
out either.
It's
Well,
very
community.
likely because again, not a big area.
Uh-huh. Ah, good
Big
thinking,
farm
Wahoo.
families.
Yep.
Well, this doesn't bode well for Mr. Rogers and his neighborhood. It's not related to him, but
Okay.
if I Google this, the first thing that comes up for me is Bad Axe Man gets a year for, let's just say, bad acts with a child. But it's not related to him, so Google's really like messing up there.
Mm.
But heaven
Okay.
forbid that's the first thing that comes up for any of us.
Which, tangent sidebarring a bit here, when you said the other night, Dan, that you asked Grok about this Mark Rolfe guy and proceeded to get like this whole long thing that terrified me. Like, all you have to do is ask Grok about me and you're going to know
Yeah.
more than I ever cared for anyone to know about me. That's a little frightening.
A little bit.
A little bit.
It is frightening.
That's great power for, I mean, I trust you, Dan, but there's a lot of people I wouldn't trust with that kind of power.
No, it's, you know, that's the
Super-
world that we live in.
Superpower, super grok. There you go.
I mean, with great Grok comes great respect.
But I couldn't find anything
Spider-Man.
about Mr. Rogers, by the way, other than he
Okay.
appears to be in his 30s,
Okay.
which fits if he has children.
Yeah.
So
Interesting. Well,
that makes sense, I guess. But
that him being related is a possible theory, but can't be confirmed.
no.
And we're not going to dabble into
There's
much
there's
speculation
probably
here.
some reason though he's tracking that guy though. Just saying. And that's kind of weird.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of what's it called? That's weird. Weird alone. Following somebody and tracking him if that's what he was doing. But
Well, here's another thing. If he has a beef with this guy, with Mr.
Yeah.
Rolfe,
Mhm.
why did he go to his theater?
yeah.
Now I get it. It's bad acts, and well, we've got to drive to go to. You know what? If you don't like somebody enough, you'll drive to the alternative.
You'll drive to Saginaw or Bay City, whatever.
Right.
So I don't necessarily want to hear, well, we don't have any other options. Yeah, you do. There's always
Yeah.
options. So, you
Yeah.
know, and that's the thing.
Again.
They continue. If the community had such a problem with this guy,
Yeah.
why did they keep going to his theater?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
boycott it.
Yeah. Again, small town Michigan. I've driven 25
Go to
miles
the
the other
next
direction to go
town.
to the place I preferred because the place down the road from me. We don't talk to them. We don't even
Yeah, go to the next
Yeah.
town.
People
My
do it.
goodness.
People will do it
What's going
if it
on?
really matters. If it really, really matters to you.
Huh.
Yeah. So we don't get him in court again until the end of this month, was it, Austin? But we don't have an exact date yet.
Don't have an exact date. The end of August is all we get for right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So then do we want to shift gears maybe and just talk about the broader subject of not setting folks up on bond for successfully staying on bond? Because that was something we originally wanted to discuss and
didn't get there the other night.
Didn't get there the other night. And that was kind of the angle that I presented when I said we need to talk about this.
Yeah, well, kick it off then, Lindsay. What's on your mind with that?
I mean, this is kind of the obvious statement that comes to mind anytime I hear this is, one of the first bond conditions that judges will put on someone is refrain from using illicit drugs or consuming alcohol. And 9 times out of 10, we have an addict standing in front of us getting, bond conditions. And initially I'm like, well, they're going to screw that up right then and there because you're telling an addict don't use. And not like they've never heard that before, So yeah, we're going to see them back in a week unless they're getting some kind of immediate access to some kind of community care or just straight up locked up where they can't use it. That's the first thing they're going to do because it's just the current wiring of their brain. So that's one that always, I don't say it every time because then you guys would get sick of me and I wouldn't be a mod and a member of the panel. But that's the first thing that comes to mind is you're talking to an addict.
Well, furthermore, depending on how deep they are in their addiction, just telling them to stop and them actually executing it could be physically dangerous.
Exactly.
The withdrawal and
they,
exactly.
In the county jails and whatnot, I've seen pictures of this. They have big posters up telling inmates if you are withdrawing from alcohol or any kind of substances, to let the staff know so they can get you the treatment that you need because it's dangerous.
Exactly. There's a reason medically assisted detox and detox centers are a thing. You need to be monitored. In some cases, you do need medication, substances, to help you get through that. So while I completely understand why you have to put that condition in, especially if their crimes are alcohol or drug related, you have to tell them, do not consume alcohol, do not consume any non-prescription drugs. You have to say that to them, but how many times have they been told, hey, stop drinking, hey, put the pipe down,
and how many times do we see them they have to go in for random testing and they still have drugs still left in their system after a certain point as well, and that's something that we see quite a lot on bond conditions.
Yeah, I think they have ways of especially with things like THC that tend to stay in your system longer. They test for levels rather than purely testing clean. They want to see the levels decrease to make sure that you haven't continued to use, understanding that these things are going to hang around in your tissues for a hot minute.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So I think they do take that into account. But another thing, and you bring up the testing component, is, you have folks that maybe have transportation issues. You have folks that have financial issues, and they have to kind of drop everything and go test somewhere. And those tests cost money. And I understand the tests need to cost money because you're talking about, equipment. You're talking about a lab tech. You're talking about the lab itself. Those things cost money. But, someone that was, robbing a gas station to buy drugs might not have the $27 just hanging around, for the test. So again, I understand why you have to do it, but this is not really setting them up for success.
No, it's totally not. Look, if we're being real about things, the majority of crimes that are done by people who have a drug or alcohol addiction, these aren't rich people.
No.
And not only are they often not the best educated, therefore not getting the best jobs, all of that, when you throw their drug or alcohol addiction on top of it, that's draining their finances as well.
Exactly.
And
they're probably not coming from the best family background. Odds are someone of their parental or grandparents had a drug problem, so they're not exactly generationally wealthy or have experience in how to navigate this.
Yep. And then piling on the testing fees and whatnot, it's just yeah, it's not going to set them
Yeah,
up for
it's
success at all.
expensive.
And then the whole, they expect the levels to drop thing, but we've seen this from time to time before too, where somebody isn't happy with how fast the levels drop.
Right.
Well, who
Yes,
defines
yes.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Right.
it boggles the mind that so many of these judges have to play doctor as well,
Right.
and not in the weird way, in the medical way, but just
Going
to be
back
clear,
to the original charges in this. Sorry.
but so they're having to make these medical calls
Yeah.
when they're not qualified to do it, and every body is different. I
Yeah.
will go back to the example that I've shared in other places with my wife, for example. Post-op from a leg fracture, they were giving her fentanyl, and it wasn't lasting in her system more than about a minute, and it was gone because she processes stuff so fast, where other people, what she was given would have killed them. So everybody moves stuff through differently. So who are you to say, well, you're still testing high, so sorry, bond revoked.
Right.
None
of this makes sense to me.
Yeah, and Barbara brought up a good point that I don't know, Wahoo brought up a good point. One of them brought up a good point that it's easier to get drugs in prison than on the streets. Yeah, so that's a good point, because who's to say that they just trying to think of like a drug addict, not like I have experience like that, but thinking like a drug addict.
Sorry.
Oh, I set myself up for that. So
I shouldn't laugh.
if I thought like a drug, if I
before you said it, I'm sorry.
if I thought like a drug addict, I would want to go wherever the drugs are.
Yeah.
Is that why we see people reoffend and go back into prison? Could that be a reason?
Only if they have money enough to put on their books to buy ramen to trade for it.
Well, there's other things they can trade for it, Dan.
That's
they
true.
can barter though.
Yeah.
I really didn't want to go there,
and,
but yeah,
and the more you
true.
barter, the more you can get.
Right.
So yes.
Yep.
I don't necessarily think it's a purposely I'm gonna reoffend. Again, coming from my perspective of it, I just think in a lot of ways you don't know how to navigate life without the substance.
Yep.
So you just you're kind of drawn to whatever gets you to the substance, so you don't have to deal with whatever the substance is helping you not deal with.
Well, yeah, and I'm just saying, if you're desperate for it, if you're so desperate,
that's true.
Would you go that length to get that substance? I could argue that.
Yeah, I mean,
I can see
if you're desperate enough to use again, you're not going to care that it's going to send you further into the legal system. You're not going to care if it, in that moment, you're all about just getting that.
Right. So yeah, in terms of
damned, you're gonna get your fix.
Yeah, and in terms of bond conditions, I don't. And especially with substance abuse, it's such a slippery slope. Because just like Lindsay said, that person's probably going to end up violating within the first couple of weeks, if even.
I mean, they might put on a brave face for a couple hours, even a day or so, but especially if they're a heavy user or a long-time user or really, really dependent. Once that withdrawal hits.
But if you're in a drug,
as soon as that hits.
Yeah, if they instead, and I know this really has other issues, but if they just put them in a drug rehab facility, for instance, they have a better chance.
You can't commit people to those facilities against their will.
Right.
Furthermore, we know from San Antonio that there's all sorts of empty beds, but they won't put people in them.
Yeah.
So it's not always that simple either.
About that one, but yeah.
Isn't it interesting how the more we dig in here, the more we realize just how broken the system is?
Yeah, and Yeah.
Like I think conceptually I realized there was always something wrong with it, but I didn't realize the extent.
Yeah.
In that every area has its own flavor of what wrong, basically.
Yeah.
WTF.
The more I watch Court and the more I see things and see the overall picture of how each city, the state location deals with different things. Yeah, I can definitely see the brokenness with each place. For in terms of like Florida, for instance, if you're trapping animals, for instance, you get a big whopping bond with that. If you go to Georgia, they have everything under the sun that's wrong. So there's that. And then
you're sitting
Michigan,
in the hallway waiting for your turn to talk into the phone.
Lindsay, did you check out any of the Clayton County documentaries on their actual jail?
Oh my god.
The hallway's an upgrade. I would beg to go to the hallway.
Oh yeah.
No,
I've
seen it. Yeah, and if anybody in the chat checks that out, I'm sorry. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking on behalf of us Georgians. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with the due process here, but apparently there's something wrong. Very, very wrong. So brokenness here. Brokenness in Michigan. We see Michigan a lot. So
they put the brokenness on display.
Including this case. Including this case with the bond condition.
Published in the papers. Streaming on YouTube.
I wonder if they do that kind of to show, hey, don't do it because this is what happens.
I mean, it's transparency.
Yeah, then Wahoo brings up Fleischer and that whole debacle with the whole state and all that kind of. I think everyone's dealing with their own problems and trying to handle it. Maybe the best they can, or maybe not the best they can. But yeah, each area has its own individual problem areas. Is what I've been watching as I've been watching Court, and I don't know how to solve it. There's no way to really
solve it. Otherwise, we have to cancel the show.
That's true. There's no way to solve it.
No, I need this income. Don't solve anything.
There's no way to solve it because if you are to solve one issue, you're ultimately creating another issue with it, and that's what we've learned on Sidebar for being over a year on the show is solving one issue creates another. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, because things don't get thought out. Nobody looks ahead to all of the different permutations of what might happen. They just go, let's try this. And then they do it. And then 5 unintended consequences, blossom from that. And you've got an even bigger problem.
Yep.
It's why government doesn't work most of the time.
Yeah.
It's the same idea. It's, we'll pass this law to do this. And then you just created 5 new problems.
Yes, exactly.
That were worse than the one you were trying to solve. People do it in business too, all the time.
Yes.
I keep my businesses incredibly simple because most people will overcomplicate them. They'll put layer upon layer, and all they're doing is instituting brokenness, not fixes. Lindsay makes a face; she understands.
All too well, Daniel. Like, all too well.
Yeah.
I have job security.
Yeah.
At least
job security because of it. But yeah, that's
an entire industry built around.
Yeah.
Some of the best advice I ever got in my life was for a guy I worked for when I was 18 years old, and I worked at Target. And he said to me, Dan, he said, I want you to understand something about this business. And I don't know why he brought this to me. Maybe he saw something in me. I don't know. He was the store manager at the time. But he said, this is a real simple business. We put shit on a shelf and people come and buy it. Don't ever make it more than that.
There you go.
And I'm like, yeah, spot on.
Yep.
Somehow they made it much more than that.
But this is why you have a job. So
Complicated the heck out of it.
Are you talking about the funnels of business, Lindsay?
I'm talking about the shitstorm of business, apparently. No, but like, yeah. Anyway, we don't need to go into my diatribe about the last month of my life. But yeah.
I often joke that's why I went into law, is for job security.
Yeah,
One of the
because you
oldest professions
always
around.
need
That's
need
smart.
lawyers, right? And attorneys, and because
Well,
of
and
this nonsense too.
they make sure that you need them as well.
Oh,
if we're
yeah.
being honest about things, because they're the ones that go into government and pass more laws and make things more difficult. And
Hmm.
Yeah.
but I think that's the same thing that prevents us from doing any kind of significant reform, is that all of the laws that are passed, all of the processes that are put in place and everything else put in a complex that the only way to get rid of it is to let it collapse. Like Lindsay, with the business you deal in, it's never going to clean itself up unless it goes bankrupt.
Yeah.
That's the only way. The only out there is death, unfortunately.
And
I
part
don't
of that
know
is just because of the sheer size of what they do and geographic footprint of it all, that it's turned it from putting shit on shelf to
Because once
how
you
it even gets to the shelf in the first place.
because just what I was saying, if you fix one issue in one side of the company or in a certain location, things are going to break in the other places. So
Well,
you can't really win.
But ultimately, I think these same principles apply to what we're talking about here, with people being set up for failure, with bad bond conditions and all of that. And we can sit here and scream about it and talk about reform and how this or that isn't right. But if I'm being intellectually honest, I don't see any of it changing. I don't. Because there's people who try. I mean, then let's go back to Fleischer. Fleischer's whole thing when he got on the bench was, I want to fix the whole bond thing.
Yeah.
How's that working out for him? It's not. I mean, everybody's after him. People don't like him.
He's up for re-election, or at least he was supposed to be. I don't know if he is going for re-election, or if he's like, nope, that's enough, I'm out.
I think he is, and but he barely won the last time, so we'll see how it goes against whoever challenges him on the Republican side. But
if I remember right, there was one of the defense attorneys that frequently came in front of him was seeking his chair. So that was like, every time he came up, it's like, oh, this is the guy that wants his job. But it's been so long, I don't remember the names anymore. Only attorney I remember is Will.
So he is up for re-election. Sorry, Lindsay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just remembering an attorney I had a crush on.
He's up for re-election this year. The election is November 3rd, and he is rerunning.
Okay.
Or running again, however you say it.
Does it say who else is on the ballot?
Yes. A Stella Stevens. So
it's not the person I thought then.
Stevens?
He didn't win the primary.
Yep.
Stevens?
This is according to Ballotpedia, or however you say
it. Ballotpedia.
Stella A. Stevens, Griffin and Kane attorneys at law.
Okay. It was a guy that I remember. So maybe he didn't actually run or didn't win the primary.
Criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor associated with the greater Houston area. Attended University of Houston Law Center. And is running for Harris County Criminal Court at Law number 5.
Well, there you go.
She is a redhead from the looks of it.
Uh-oh. I'm kidding. Nothing against redheads here.
All right, so
I just have a whole family of them up north.
So anyways, I don't know what we do about any of this.
No, there's no way to solve it. And this case, I think we should really keep an eye on it and see what happens. I think things are going to get even more interesting. Is my opinion.
I really want to watch the trial for Mr. Rolfe, and I will change the program schedule around it, but something tells me Prill is not going to stream this.
Probably not.
Because he does not always stream trials, and I just am not certain that this one's going to be allowed. But maybe if it's big enough, the local news will cover it, and we can just hack into their feed. But
that works.
I don't know.
Yeah. Is married to a redhead. I see.
Nice.
I dated a redhead for a couple of years.
How'd it go?
This was back in the 80s, and she was a Molly Ringwald lookalike.
Ooh.
Which was very cool, but also very annoying because we would go places and people were like, oh, it's Molly Ringwald. And that was cool for a while, and then it got really old.
Annoying. Yeah.
Yeah. I could see that.
But anyways.
There is a third solution of how we could get it. We could get somebody in there with an eyeglass camera.
Ooh.
Oh, the meta glasses.
Hmm.
I don't know if those stream or not.
Those in courtrooms, though.
Probably.
Imminently.
Yep. I know my local court banned smartwatches.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Wow.
Wait,
I don't know.
Wait, they banned smartwatches?
Yes. Or one of the judges in the court system.
Yeah, you can use them like walkie-talkies.
Yep. And what happened was
on them.
The attorney put his phone on vibrate, but he didn't realize that that setting wouldn't go over to his watch. So somebody called his phone, and the watch went off. He tried to put it on vibrate, or he tried to silence it. It didn't work. He got called again.
Mm-hmm.
It went off again, and he got held in contempt and taken in. And then the judge had to step off the bench because he got told he couldn't do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Small town politics.
That's extreme. Okay.
Yep.
Just that one time, huh?
Yeah. But it became such a big thing. It happened while I was in school yet. And our the head of the program sent out a mass email to all staff and students. Please do not wear that. Any type of smartwatch, any type of phone or anything in court. We don't want any of you getting arrested.
Yeah. So then what happens with these glasses?
Yeah. I think that might be all the same
for
thing
next episode
as I'm playing them.
Actually, I've been reading about meta glasses in Disney World, and it's been quite interesting.
That's a whole other discussion we can have at some point, though.
Yeah.
Not just the meta glasses, but I'm thinking how these judges are so protective over who gets to see their court, but yet they put their court out there for everybody to see. We see this all the time. Wiggins was the latest one, where he was throwing fits because people were like watching his stream and sometimes rebroadcasting a hearing. And that was like the worst thing in the world, but yet he was streaming. Well, what do you expect?
Yep.
Yeah.
If you put stuff out there, people are going to slice it up and use it. That is the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what do I know? All right. Any final thoughts? Anybody?
I'm just very curious to see how this plays out in Huron County.
Like everything, I am kind of scared because if this has happened here, where has it happened in other places? And what other cases are like this? So that always is scary to me because it's never a one-off situation. Yeah.
No. Austin, anything?
I definitely am going to be following this case and through its entirety, and I'm even considering FOIAing or requesting the files from the court.
FOIA.
I have a contact.
Oh, I love FOIA.
Yep, I have a contact for it, but yeah.
If nothing else, you can call the Huron County Court because they gave you their number.
Yes,
it's true. Well, I will just say this. I kind of agree with what Ashley just said, and I've been thinking about it myself. If we're seeing this sort of weirdness here, how prevalent is it across the rest of the United States? How many other cases would we find where people are being led into questionable situations only to have their bond revoked for doing their job, which is kind of where this one is at for me. He was put in a no-win situation because he's expected to work, but for some reason, he wasn't. And now he's in jail until the case is over with. I don't know. There's a whole lot wrong with it, but I don't know what we do.
Hopefully you don't need to go see a movie in Huron County or Bad Axe because the theater's probably closed now.
And
it is
just don't get arrested either.
I can confirm the theater is still open.
Oh,
They have reduced their number of screenings though.
you would have to.
I can see that.
Yep. So they're not as many showings per day due to reduced staff and whatnot. So we've hurt this guy's pocketbook as well, and probably messed up some contracts too. Because when these movies come into a theater, they're contracted for a certain number of showings.
Yeah.
So he's probably now in violation there, and there's probably fines and whatnot involved for that. So let's just totally destroy the guy's business while we're at it.
No win situation.
Good time.
Yeah. On that note, we'll be back tomorrow.
Yes.
9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. It is Super Friday tomorrow. That's always fun. We'll probably get some Dungeon Court, so that'll be all right.
Nice.
Lindsay has her blotter, I believe, tomorrow morning on the pre-show. So if you're a member, show up for that.
I had planned on doing kind of a best of what we missed, but this week's blotter is too good.
Cool.
In and of itself is too good.
I'm
We're
excited.
whole
in the county, guys.
The whole show will be yours. So just
No,
give
not
us
the whole
everything you
show.
got. Yeah.
The whole show. It's not that much content.
Is it like 10 or 15 minutes?
I can make it 10.
Okay. Well, I'll say hi to people, and that'll take up the other 5. All right, friends. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Take care. God bless.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Have a good night, y'all.